Yeah, so Kenley's wedding is going to go down as the blue wedding, because unlike the red wedding, no one died, and then everyone resigned. Coming to you pre-tape from the Best Coast Show studios, this is the Best Coast Show. I'm your host, Albert Aguilera. That's my producer, Curtis Sage. And Curtis, while the naysayers were saying that the Dodgers would get maybe one or the other, we got all three free agents. We got Hill, we got Jansen, we got Ginger Jesus back.
The band is back together,
The
Albert.
band is back together.
So, Dodgers fans, Dodgers Nation, this is
welcome
Dodgers. Welcome back. This is a Dodgers episode. We're kind of recapping last week's or this week's big events.
The last 48 hours.
It's been stressful. I can't say
The anxiety was high?
My anxiety was very high, but somehow, some way, the Dodgers got both of our big free agents back, plus Rich Hill, which is not bad, but. I mean, they're 3 out of 3 on the free agent deal. Now we have to just hunt for a second baseman.
Dozier?
So maybe. So today,
Dozier.
fans, is a Dodgers episode. We are going to be just talking about this offseason and where do we go from here, and just the excitement that Dodgers fans are feeling right now that we have our big guy back at the back end of the bullpen and Red turn 2 back at third base. Let's get started.
I like it. Dodger Nation, welcome back to the Best Coast Show. Here we are talking about the Dodgers and the anxiety they were giving us over the last 48 hours. I'd like to take this moment to thank Yasiel Puig. I usually hate on him, but I'm going to give him all the credit in the world for going to Jansen's wedding and being the ambassador of, hey, bros, let's all come back and play together in L.A. Let's keep this band together. California is better than anywhere else. And
do you really think that's what went on?
I think what happened is that he got them like shit-faced drunk and made them realize that Los Angeles was the place to be because we're awesome. And Yasiel Puig was like, guys, you can't leave me alone. Like, we got to do this. And then Jansen was drunk and super happy because he was just, he just got married.
Yeah.
And Turner was there. And Gingers can't drink all that well. They get drunk really fast. So then what happens was he gets them together, and then they all realize that they are like band of brothers. And
Yes.
if one of them leaves, then they're all going to be like super sad, like when A.J. Ellis left.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to live through that again.
Something happened.
People get emotional when they drink. I've seen it.
They do. I think something happened at that wedding. I really do. I think that, I don't know if it was Puig or Van Slyke,
Listen,
but
if I'm a Dodger fan, Van Slyke was there as well, and we had just signed Van Slyke the previous week to a 1-year deal, and
Nobody knows why,
He
but
was like, guys, come on, let's do this.
Yeah.
But if I'm a guest at that wedding, right? Obviously, I'm a Dodger fan. I'm a guest at that wedding. When that microphone's walking around and people are saying their thing, that microphone lands in my hand. I'm like, listen, Kenley, you look great. Congratulations, your wife. She's so beautiful. That dress is amazing. You look great. You know how she'd look better, though? In a Dodger blue hat.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
at Dodger Stadium.
At Dodger Stadium. That's all I'm
Exactly.
saying.
Well, listen, Kenley took.
But congratulations to the two of you.
Yeah, congratulations on that. But Kenley took less money to come back.
A lot
to
less
the
money.
Dodgers. The Nationals were going to give him more money. Probably the Marlins were going to give him the same or about the same, which would have ruined the Marlins, organization. And I think maybe Kenley's agent knew that.
This is okay, and this really annoys me. So Dodger Nation, you're kind of new to the program here. You guys haven't seen me go on my rants with the Kings, with the Dodgers, with the Rams, with everybody. Where baseball is a sport where there's a luxury tax, right? We can spend all the money in the world. We can have a printing press and continue to spend money.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the Dodgers are in a position where they can do that. But what really fucking pisses me off is that across all sports, doesn't matter what league you're in, and this fucks the Kings a lot because the Kings in the NHL, you play in a hard cap league. But what I really hate is state income tax. Not just because it fucks me and you, the normal guy,
Sure,
for
sure.
35%,
Sure.
but because when you're talking about millions of dollars for an athlete, teams in Texas, teams in Florida
Have an advantage.
have a massive advantage. Where if I offer you 5 years, $100 million, but then so do the Marlins, so do the Rays. Not that would happen with the Rays, but you're getting that money. In California, you're not.
Yeah.
So teams in California, teams in New York, teams wherever that are
Hamstrung
not
a little bit.
hamstrung a little bit,
Yeah.
where you have to spend more money and possibly go into a luxury tax problem, possibly get to the cap space in the NHL because you're trying to woo these agents to have their players come here, and it's like when the player makes less money, guess who else makes less money? The agent.
But let's be honest. There's a few more perks that happen. I mean, Miami's a great city, but there's
It's
a
not
few
as
more.
awesome as Los Angeles. When
No.
your walkout music is California Love, he wasn't going anywhere.
He wasn't going anywhere. But there's a few more perks in Los Angeles, and one of them is property value. You buy a house here, that value of that house isn't going to go down if you live by the beach where these players
Well, here's
do.
the thing with California and Los Angeles. And Florida. Anytime you hear about wacky, wonky shit in the news, where is it? It's in Florida.
Yeah.
Kenley didn't want to be walking down the street and some guy that's high on God knows what new drug is trying to eat his face.
Bath salts.
Yeah, like, no. And then, when the Nationals were like, hey, dude, we want to give you X amount of money too, Kenley's like, bro, I'm from, like, warm weather. You think I want to go somewhere where it snows 6 months of the year? Get the fuck out of here.
The Nationals are kind of falling apart. I don't see him going there. But, okay, so here's the deal. The Nerds. I mean, look, we have not been fans of nerd ball. You and I are not stat guys. You
like exit velocity.
I like exit velocity.
I don't like
my only stat that I like. It does. That's why I like it. It's the only stat I like.
I don't care how hard you hit it. If someone catches it, it's still an out.
I do like WAR, wins above replacement, but I don't really get it. Like, what I get is someone playing well on the field,
right,
and also what they're like in the dugout. And Justin Turner is the glue of this team. And if we lost Justin Turner, we haven't had a good third baseman since
Beltre left.
Since Beltre left, and I mean, you could say Casey Blake.
Casey Blake was cool.
Whatever. He had a cool beard.
Yeah,
he was
while
nice,
he played,
whatever.
I liked him. He was cool.
But we haven't had a good, solid third baseman. And yes, we're overpaying probably for Turner.
Because he's 32.
He's 32. But the thing is if he gives us 2 more years like he did the last year,
and clubhouse presence is the big thing.
Clubhouse presence is a big thing. We've talked about that possibly we could move Turner around to some other place, maybe. But we are just in a situation where you can't lose a guy like that. And I was saying on the last show, you cannot lose the best closer, in my opinion, the best closer in baseball. And even I value him even more than Chapman because, look, Chapman has one pitch.
Yeah,
he kind of can throw a second pitch.
And
but
like we talked in the last time, I don't know why the Dodgers were even talking to him. And he signs with the Yankees, and he goes, oh, yeah, no trade clause. I don't want to go to any teams in California.
Whatever.
Because he doesn't like the gun laws we have in California. It's that simple.
Little side note, Kenley he waived his no trade clause, so he can be traded. The Dodgers will compensate him if he does get traded.
And I believe he's got an opt-out after 3 years.
Fine.
Yeah, 5 years, $80 million, opt-out after 3.
So the Nerds, who I didn't think we were getting both of them back, and I wasn't rooting for that. I wanted both these players back because they're the two best players at the position.
They brought back all 3 free agents that they wanted for $190 million over the course of 5 years.
So they spent the money. So what happens?
You can say that they spent the money. Yeah, they did. But
they're still at the $16 million
threshold.
Yeah,
that sweet 16 that Friedman likes to do, that's where they are. That's where they live. That's where he's comfortable. Okay, whatever.
Let's face it, that's not chump change.
Not for you and I.
Now, would he go $16 million for Kershaw? I think you have to kind of break your mold.
Right, but he would be like, hey, Clayton, you're 40 years old. You've done great things. You've won like 4 World Series for us. I'm going to give you $16 million a year to have a fictitious title and be an ambassador for the Dodgers. That's when they'll pay Clayton Kershaw $16 million a year.
Do you know how close we were to Pedro Baez being our closer?
I still would think it's funny.
That would have been not good. That would have been not good. So we avoided that. That was one of the big things. So we have some concerns still. We still need a second baseman. We could bring back Chase. He hasn't signed yet with the Angels, which I'm guessing.
But he's not going to be your everyday second baseman. You need a legitimate. I mean, I like Chase Utley. Everyone likes the Silver Fox.
What about Micah Johnson? What about bringing up one of these young kids? What about Austin Barnes?
But can they play every day?
Well, if you're doing Chase Utley and Austin Barnes, kind of.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan because here's why I don't think we did so well in the playoffs when it came to our hitting. Your batters cannot get into a rhythm if they're not hitting every day.
Yeah. And we, as Dodger fans, we had a problem with that last year, that the lineup was different every day.
The lineup changes 4 times a fucking week.
The only people that were in their spot in the lineup were really Seager, Turner, and Agon most of the time. But everybody else, it was like...
Yeah, you're batting second today. You're batting 8th today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lefty today. Oh, it's a righty today. Oh, we're on the road today. And it's like, oh, God damn it, you nerds.
And there's where the stats, we're not big on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a get the player in their comfort zone. They know every day when they show up from the ballpark what they're going to be doing. I think that goes a long way with players, too, is that, I mean, granted, we won the West 4 years in a row, though.
Yeah, and my thing with that is, too, with batters, you're not going to get any better at improving a specific stat that you suck at if you don't do it.
If you don't do that stat, yeah. So they look at the stats against left-handed hitters. Okay, don't play him. But Jock Peterson's never going to get better at hitting lefties if he doesn't hit lefties. Is that stupid for us to think that? I mean, should we?
No, that makes sense. Like, if you suck at something, practice.
Okay.
Practice it. And you're clearly not going to be able to practice against lefties or righties or whoever.
But they're looking at spray charts and they're looking at, it's like, oh, fuck, just... He's got to go out there and hit against them. So we're looking for a second baseman. There's still the Ian Kinsler idea. There's still the Brian Dozier on the table. You don't like prospects. Are we trading Jose De Leon and a combo of other young? The Twins are going to want like 5 guys for Dozier. He's their best player.
Just because he's their best player doesn't mean that they're going to ask for a king's ransom.
He's our best player.
Well, I mean, how many people are inquiring on him? How many people need second baseman? It's not like he's an ace pitcher at the trade deadline.
Okay.
What makes him really attractive, besides his 42 home runs, is his contract-friendly payroll.
Sure. So we'd have to
2 years, $15 million. They need pitching. They need younger arms. They need an outfielder. They were also looking at who's their center fielder in the minors? God, what's the name of that kid?
Who?
Outfielders.
Verdugo?
Yeah, Verdugo. Yeah. They were looking at Verdugo. The Pirates were also looking at Verdugo. So that could be something you could throw out there because Jock Peterson's going to be our outfielder for the foreseeable future.
That we think.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like he's going to be. So, where does Alex Verdugo fit in? I say package him. I mean, look, De Leon has a real shot at being the number 5 starter this year. He really does. Or he can come out of the bullpen. So do we have this possibility that we trade what could be our... Look, Zach Lee, here's the exact example. Zach Lee just got claimed off waivers for the Padres. We refrained from trading Zach Lee, Dodger fans, for 2 years because he was the next second coming of Clayton Kershaw. And here he is now. He's on the Padres.
As soon as we stole him from LSU, he was going to go to LSU, play for the Mad Hatter. LSU they had just gone off a national championship that year. He was going to go be a god in the state of Louisiana, and we signed him. And I went to Bloggers Night the following year, and I was in a room full of other bloggers, and I asked Ned Colletti straight up, I'm like, are you ever going to let this kid play? Or what's going to happen? Because if you're just going to let him rot in the minors, trade him while he still has value. And everyone looked at me like I was fucking crazy. Yeah. And I was like, what? It's true. I know this guy's the GM, and this is Bloggers Night, and I'm asking a fucking question.
So the point is, though, is that we do have a huge surplus of really good minor league prospects. Over the last 3 years, we've been building up our minor league system with a lot of Cubans that kind of suck.
2010 is when Zach Lee got drafted.
Yeah. And we expected him to be in the major leagues by 2013.
But he wasn't. And we
never traded him.
And I was always like, hey, trade Zach Lee. We never did. We got nothing for him. I was always on the bandwagon of trade Ivan De Jesus.
Wasn't there that whole thing of Zach Lee for Cliff, for Hamels? There was like...
we had that. And then when Cliff Lee, prior to him like blowing out his arm...
That's right.
Everyone wanted Lee for Lee. And a lot of people and that's what pisses me off about the prospects. Like, I understand... There's potential there.
Yeah.
But when you actually see and watch them play, and you're kind of like, but other people think they have value, get rid of them. Ivan De Jesus, that pissed me off because Ned Colletti never wanted to trade him because he was the next A-Rod.
Yeah.
Okay, Chin Lung Hu, Chad Billingsley,
I forgot
Zach
about Chin
Lee.
Lung Hu.
And really, in the last decade, we've had 2 prospects that have panned out.
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw and Sexy Seager.
Okay. Those are 2 good ones.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, top prospects... It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot on prospects because you don't know once they get to the major leagues if they can play the grind every day, if they can, make it through. Pitchers start figuring hitters out. Good hitters start figuring pitchers out. Zach Lee had great stuff, but did he have the mental makeup to be a major leaguer, or does he have the mental makeup? And still a question mark. So here we are with Jose De Leon, who's considered one of the top 5 pitching prospects in baseball. Do you trade him for a proven second baseman? I say yes.
I say yeah in a heartbeat because it's proven.
It's proven.
You're not trading a prospect for a prospect.
Yeah.
So,
but if we hold on to these young guys like Bellinger, we really love, but we don't know. He could hit 40 home runs. He could hit 12. He could be...
Well, the reason I don't think you trade Cody Bellinger is because Gonzo's got 2 years left on his contract, and they're not going to re-sign him. Yeah. You're going to have to fill that position in 2 years.
So we want to try to hold on to Bellinger. He's our top
we don't
guy.
have a second baseman in our system. And then, everyone was like, oh...
Well, we have Micah Jansen. We do have a second baseman. He's pretty good.
But is he as good as Dozier is now?
No.
And
not even close.
And even then, you get rid of De Leon, and okay, maybe Micah Jansen can come up and he gets that cup of tea in September, and he becomes a utility guy for a little bit, or a guy that comes off the bench, and then maybe Dozier doesn't pan out after 2 years, or maybe he does, and he wants a stupid monster contract, and we say kick rock, son, and then Micah Jansen can take over.
Okay, got it. So even though we made our big deals, bringing back Turner, bringing back Jansen,
we got what we wanted in the winter meetings, and day after.
We relatively have the same team right now.
Right. The winter meetings season fiasco was a success for the Dodgers.
It was.
Nobody thought we'd get back everybody, and we did. So this was a success. So now we have between now and opening day to get a second baseman.
And I feel like some relievers.
Yeah, we need relievers.
We need a couple relievers. We can fill in.
We got to bring back Blanton.
Do you think so?
I would like to bring him back for 1 year. Put him and JP Howell on 1 year deals.
Yes, JP Howell was a little unsuccessful last year, but I mean, again, we've got some guys that can pitch in the middle innings. We've got some pitchers, Ross Stripling, like I said before, that could probably fill in that area. Brock Stewart could fill in that area. We've got some other guys. I mean, Coleman. There's a few people that we can kind of bring in. There's been some rumors of Greg Holland. I mean, some people, he was,
Yeah, but the thing with Greg Holland is I don't think the Dodgers will commit more than 1 year to him. And if he wants a multi-year deal, then it ain't going to happen.
Okay.
What we should do is ask the Orioles what they're doing with Zach Britton.
How would we get that guy out of Baltimore?
I don't know.
That would be awesome.
It gives us something to talk about between now and April.
Okay, so we're gonna have Dodger fans. We're gonna have a little bit more. Look, we got the out of the way. We got the okay, this wasn't gonna happen.
That
situation.
panic attack where that Kenley watch.
Yeah, the Kenley watch is over. Turner, we're good. But now we just have to kind of make sure that we're still hoping that this regime doesn't try to cut corners with other things. I mean, I don't mind bringing Utley back, but I don't think he's an everyday second baseman at this point.
Well, he wasn't last year either. Second base was a revolving door. It was Kike, it was Howie, it was Chase, it was Micah Johnson, it was Culberson. Second base was played by somebody else every fucking day last year.
We're still paying Carl Crawford, correct? I just want to have an update on that.
Yes, because in Major League Baseball, when you're released, it's not like the NFL where you're owed zero money. Carl Crawford still gets paid.
And we're still paying Matt Kemp?
We're paying for Matt Kemp. We're not paying Matt Kemp.
Okay, we're paying for Matt Kemp. So we still have those come off the books next year, I believe. So then we're going to have they're going to start getting their payroll down next year.
And, people like to say that the Dodgers have $300 million on payroll, and they do, but they don't have $300 million on the active roster.
Yeah.
We're paying a lot of people to leave us, to go away.
Well, we just spent about $148 million for 3 guys. Which
$190 million.
Which is interesting. Okay, whatever the math is. Which is interesting because we didn't want to pay Greinke last year, and fans lost their minds, me included. Why did that not happen?
They did. What they didn't want to do is give him the additional year that Arizona did, because the Dodgers were like, okay, we'll give you the $30 million a year, but we're not going to go for whatever 6 years.
Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
At a person that old. All right, so what's our gift of the day, Albert?
Guys, our gift of the day, this is a kid. This was, I believe, a 2014 divisional series. This little kid is sitting around doing the sign of the cross, and you can see that his anxiety is high. This was basically all of us this last week. I'm sitting in traffic, and I'm just like, come on, Kenley, Ginger Jesus, you can do this.
Yeah.
But
I was decorating my Christmas tree, listening to Dodger Talk the next day, like the morning after, and getting depressed because on Dodger Talk on the radio, they were saying, don't be surprised if the Dodgers don't bring back both guys. And all the fans were freaking out. They're like, we have to have both these guys back. But Dodger Talk was making fans pick between Turner and Jansen.
I say, why not both? And we got both.
We got both.
It's like, fuck you, don't give me options. We have money. Take both of them.
Yes.
Terrible.
So Dodgers fans, we're on Facebook here for Dodgers Nation. So make sure that you leave comments. We'll talk about them on our next show.
Yeah, I like that, guys. But that's been our show, Dodgers Nation. Thanks again for tuning in. You can stalk Dodger Nation on the Twitter at Dodgers Nation. Find them on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Best Coast Show. You can look at all the behind-the-scenes stuff on our Instagram, also at Best Coast Show.
We're on iTunes.
Yeah. You can do the podcast while you sit in traffic and you hang out with your relatives over the winter break, because family, you love your family, but being around them all the time for the holidays, and they're like, when are you getting married? Oh, when are you guys having kids?
Got to have Dodger Talk.
Oh, God, I know. You guys need Dodger Talk in your life, so you can put us on your podcast, iTunes, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. But that's been our show, and you guys have a good night.